today to talk about sending emails quickly and reliably from SendGrid. I know I'm in between you and happy hour and drinks, and so I know that you're probably pretty anxious to get to that. So if you take out a flash or anything during this talk, I understand. I might be a little bit worried about your web framework of choice, but we'll move on. And that joke is why people drink during my presentation. Anyways, hi, I'm Nick. I'm a developer evangelist for SendGrid. Who here has heard of SendGrid? So cool. Okay, who here has used SendGrid? I love you guys. All of you are wonderful. Okay, for those of you who don't know, SendGrid is a company that makes it really easy for developers to send and receive emails from their applications. And that might seem like a really silly thing to do because email is easy to send, generally, or at least you think it is. But it turns out it's not. And to understand why it's not, really we need to go back to the story of email. And the story of email takes us back to the 80s. The 80s were this wonderful time where we trusted everybody. We believed that everybody on the internet was nice and altruistic and would never ever do anything wrong. And we very quickly learned, like much of the 80s, that that was a bad idea. And so we started introducing all these things to make sure that people couldn't send you emails about Viagra sales, or their Nigerian princes, or whatever. So we started introducing these things like DKIM, domain key identified mail. This is a signature that you're supposed to put on every single message that you send. SPF, another thing like that, Sender Policy Framework. DMARC, which is another acronym, and that's just the combination of those two combined. And then we started making spam filters. And spam filters take a message, apply heuristics to it, and throw it out sometimes. And so we got into the state where 90% of email sent today is spam. And that's a problem because 22% of legitimate non-spam email isn't delivered because it keeps getting classified as spam through one mechanism or another. And that should be really scary for you, or at least it is to me. Because it means emails my users want, emails like, here's your password reset, or here's the invoice for the item you just purchased that you need to forward on to your HR and accounts receivable department, whatever. You don't get that. And so that's really scary. And so that's why companies like SendGrid exist. We make it really, really easy to send email and make sure it gets to people. We also make it easy to receive it and do cool stuff around it. But I'm going to talk mostly about sending email. There are two ways that you can send email through us, SMTP and web. SMTP is actually the way all email is sent in the end. It's this really chatty 9-step protocol where one server talks to another and it says, hey, can I send this message? Okay, cool, let's send it. You can send email through SendGrid with this, the problem being it's a little bit slow. The cool thing is, though, that SMTP is a standard. And what's cool about standards is it means that you can plug this into pretty much any application, change some credentials, and you're good to go with SendGrid or anybody else. So that's SMTP, but there's also HTTP as a transport mechanism, and that's really cool. I really like this because you can send push requests and a message sent. So that's awesome. And you can do that with SendGrid very easily. It's very quick and really easy to understand. We also have a whole bunch of client libraries that you can use to send email. We have them in most major languages. The bolded ones are obviously the ones that are built into Cloud Foundry by default, and then of course you can include any of these in Cloud Foundry anyways. And so we work really well with Cloud Foundry actually. We have a service through AppDirect, and what that means is with like 2 lines of code, you can get yourself a SendGrid account and get ready to send. In fact, here are the 2 lines. First, you do a CF create service. You say you want a SendGrid free plan. With the SendGrid free plan, with Cloud Foundry, and only with Cloud Foundry, you can send up to 25,000 emails a month for free. And so that's really cool. That's a lot of email. That's more email than I've ever sent in my life. Or you can log in and get more. But anyways, and then you bind the service to your application, and you're good to go. You have a service in your VCAP services. You can use the credentials in your application. And so that's that, but I wanted to show you actually how to do it through some live code. So I'm going to go jump into my text editor of choice. Hello, Sublime Text. So I'm using Node. If you've never used Node before, don't worry too much about it. All you need to know is Node is for hipsters and is also very asynchronous. So just ignore the code above this line, up there, and then also ignore the code. Ignore the code right down here. Okay, so now we're good to go. and I'm just going to start writing an application. So what this is basically it's an Express app that will start serving requests that come into it. So to get going with SendGrid here in Cloud Foundry, the first thing we're going to do is actually neither of those. What we're going to do is we're going to load a module I wrote. And what this module does is it gives me a bird call. And because I work for an email company, I'm going to send it to myself. So the way I do that is I'm going to go ahead and get all the services that Cloud Foundry provides. This is provided as a string, we parse it into JSON, and now we have an object we can work with. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get SendGrid from that big list of services, and we'll go ahead and get the first SendGrid instance. You can actually have as many SendGrid instances as you want with Cloud Foundry, but we only need the first one. So next up, we'll initialize SendGrid here. And so what this does is it's basically like logging into Gmail. We require our package, and then we pass in our username and password from Cloud Foundry. So that's all the setup code. Now we're actually going to set up an application that runs. And so what this application is going to do is it's going to use that bird library that I made and get a bird call. And so I think loons are the best thing to ever happen to anything. So I'm going to go ahead and get a loon call. And then I'll send it to myself. And so the way we do that is first we initialize a mail object. And so think of this as like hitting compose in Gmail. Then we just need to kind of fill it out. So first we'll make it to me. This is my email. I'm nick@sendgrid.com. If you have any questions about SendGrid or anything else in the future, please don't hesitate to get in contact. Next up, we're going to set who it's from. We'll make it from myself because I really like talking to myself. Then we'll go ahead and we will set a subject like thanks for coming to the CF Summit, exclamation point. That's a bridge emoji. And then we'll go ahead and do email, set HTML, and just send that bird, some of the info about that bird call to me. So there we go. That sends an email to SendGrid. That was really fast and easy to do. But this is a little bit boring. And I've heard that talking to yourself is not socially acceptable. So I wanted to make this a little bit more interactive. I want to make it so that you can email into my script, and I'll respond back to you with an autoresponder. So what we're going to do there, and how we're going to do it, is we're going to use SendGrid's parsed webhook. This is how we receive email, and basically what I've done is I've set it up so any email that goes to the domain calls.email, and yes, that is a domain, will be parsed into my Cloud Foundry app. So what we'll do is we'll go into Express now, and we'll configure it a little bit more. So first, I want to respond back to you, so I'll get your email address. Since you're sending me an email, that will be in the from part of the email, so rect body from. And as much as I'd love to send you all loon calls, I think you have different favorite birds. So what I'll do is I will allow you to put in whatever bird you want in the subject. So rect body subject. And so now that's that. Now we'll get it deployed to Cloud Foundry. So the way we go ahead and do this is the first thing we'll do is we'll CF bind service. We'll bind the service to my application. And my application name is SendGrid Demo. And because I work for SendGrid, I named my instance of SendGrid, SendGrid is cool. Yeah, we are. Cool. And so now we're binding a service. There's an API call going off to Cloud Foundry. And now it's binding the service to my application. Cool. Done. So now we just have to push it. CF push, SendGrid Demo. Demo. Boom. Okay, so now it's pushing, and you're going to see some pushing code, blah, 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 blah. While it's pushing, though, I want you to get out your phones. And I want you to get into your email client and write me an email, but don't send it yet, to bird@calls.email. Everybody, get out your phones. I can see if you're doing it. Get it out right now. And send an email to bird@calls.email with the subject of your favorite bird, whatever that is. So if it's a pigeon, put pigeon. If it's a loon, put loon. Once this deploys, I'm going to ask you to hit send. When you hit send, you're going to start getting a whole bunch of, you're going to get an email. In that email, there will be a play button. Hit the play button, turn your phone's volume up, and let the bird call ring out throughout the room, okay? So if you want to test it out, you can actually send me an email, please@birdcalls.me, and that will actually work. Boom, like that. But anyways, if you want to see the real code and it actually working, it's all on GitHub under my username. I'm Nick Quinlan on GitHub, or you can follow me on Twitter as GayNickQ, where that's going to happen. So, thanks so much, everybody.